This is a short review before you take the quizzes, or the first quiz over heat changes. All right, so basically there are three formulas that you're going to be using for these quizzes. So Q is equal to M Cp delta T. That formula applies anytime there is a temperature change. Second formula, Q is equal to mass times heat of fusion. That formula applies only at melting. And the third formula, Q is equal to mass times heat of vaporization. That formula applies at the boiling point. So this one applies during temperature change. This one during melting. And this one during boiling. So when you're looking at the problems, you're going to be looking for a certain key units. The Q is measured in joules. M is measured in grams. Cp is measured in joules per gram degree C. Delta T will be in degrees C. In this formula, Q is joules. M is going to be measured in grams, that's the mass. Heat of fusion will be in joules per gram. Over here, Q again measured in joules. Q stands for the quantity of heat. Grams and joules per gram. So since you're watching this video, here's a free problem that we could do. So this is on the quiz. You got 25 grams of hot metal with a specific heat capacity of 0.9 placed in 250 grams of water at 25 C, and the temperature raises to 30 C. What was the heat change of the water? Well, since the temperature changed, which formula would you use? You go back over here. There are three formulas. Which one has a temperature change in it? That would be this one. So you're going to write the formula down. Q equals M Cp delta T. In this case, what is the mass? Well, there you have to interpret a little bit because we have two masses. We have 25 grams and we have 250 grams. But this question asks, what was the heat change of the water? So you would use the mass of the water. So you put in 250 grams. Then we want to know the heat change, and the heat change is given in joules. Down here, the answers are in joules. So, put a space in there. So those are the answers in joules. We know the change in temperature was from 25 to 30. So it went from 25 to 30. So I'm going to put that in for change of temperature because I need to move the screens to show you something. So that's a 25 to 30 would really just be a 5 degrees change. So 5 degrees would be what you'd use there. Once again, this is the change in temperature. So it's 25 going to 30, but you're just going to use the change, so put in a 5. Now, up at the top of this quiz, I gave you a bunch of constants, several constants that you might need to use. In this case, we need to know what Cp of liquid water is. So it's either 1 calorie per gram degree centigrade, or it takes 4.18 joules to raise 1 gram 1 degree C. Since the answers are in joules, down here in the one we're working, since the answers are in joules, we need to use the 4.18 value. All right, so then you just do the math. So you set it up, 250 times 4.18 times 5. So you should get one of the answers that's listed. Oh, there's one there. All right. Now, if you're looking for a different variable, like here, where it's the mass of the water, same kind of thing, except here you're going to use Q equals M Cp delta T, and you know in this case, you know the Q, and you know the Cp from the chart at the top of the page, and you know the change in temperatures from 25 to 30, so you know everything except the mass, and you solve for mass. And down here, when you're at the boiling point, since you're at the boiling point, you will use which formula? Use the one for boiling. So when you run into a problem where you're at the boiling point or you're at the melting point, then you use one of these two formulas. All right, hope that little quick review helped.